I'm Paul Llewellyn, and welcome to Rainmakers, where we share the stories of those making a difference in their communities. On today's show, we are joined by Pauline Christian, a passionate community builder, entrepreneur, and advocate for education. As the founder of the MLK celebration in Canada, celebrating its 26th year, Pauline has dedicated herself to bringing people together, fostering unity, empowerment, and opportunity. Her work extends beyond this annual event, from providing scholarships for marginalized families to mentoring future leaders and supporting international students. She believes in the power of faith, education, and strategic collaboration to create lasting change. Today, we'll dive into how she brings communities together, overcomes challenges, and inspires the next generation to build a more connected world. Pauline, welcome to Rainmakers.
Thank you, Paul. Thanks for having me.
It's great to have you on our show today. We
I'm
go
happy to
back
be
a
here.
few, yeah, we go back a few
Decades,
decades
maybe?
together. That's right. We've known each other for a long time, and I've always
Yes.
been inspired by your work.
Oh, thank you.
So, Pauline, the MLK celebration isn't just an event, it's
That's
a
right.
movement that has been bringing people together for 26 years.
Yes.
What do you think is the key to creating a lasting impact in the community?
I think that the Martin Luther King celebration is not just an event.
Mhm.
I think it's a catalyst for change, transformation, and unity. And, when we look at our religion, the Seventh day Adventist religion, we understand that our religion is a movement.
Yes.
And so the reason why I got so much involved with Martin Luther King, because I saw there were similarities
Mhm.
with the movement of the Seventh-day Adventist Church and the movement of the Martin Luther King celebration,
Right.
because both came out of a social movement as well,
Mhm.
right? Bringing people together. So it's not just an event, it's an opportunity to bring about change,
Yeah.
transformation, and to unify the community. And when we think of evangelism, what better agency can we can use
Right.
to do such an amazing job bringing people together and transforming our lives and transforming the world,
Inspiring.
one person at a time.
One person at a time. So in your work, it's all about uniting people. In a time when society feels more divided than ever, how do you find common ground?
I find common ground in looking at the different spaces or people that we're catering to,
Mhm.
right? And how we can create a collaborative. How can we kind of bring together allyship? And I think when people come together and they see that there's commonality in value, commonality in understanding that we are human.
Yeah.
We're human beings. So if we look at humanity, if we look at the value of it, and because we are also a religious organization, we look at faith,
Mhm.
right? And so more so, even when I was in corporate Canada, there was not a big thing on faith until the latter part before I left, that most corporate leaders realize that faith has a huge impact on deliverables within the organization. So when I look at it and I look from a strategic point of view, if I use faith, which when I was a part of corporate Canada, everybody knew that I was a Seventh-day Adventist,
Mhm.
because I realized first that if I'm a Seventh-day Adventist and I'm the top in terms of performance, and I do what I'm supposed to do and I do above, there's always a stretch target for me. And so that's how I got attracted by corporate Canada, so I could get the move upward, even though there were challenges, as we know, right?
Mhm.
But at least I got movement, because again they see me as a high performance individual, and they knew that at that time that it was because of my faith, what I believe in, right? So I think that the faith piece is so critical to ensure that it's there's I underscore that, and I know many people do, because it allows us to get the upper end, right, in terms of deliverables, and also getting, being on the leading edge or competitive edge.
So Pauline, when I come to the MLK celebration,
Hmm.
I see a large police presence there.
Yes,
Not to protect, but just there to support.
that's right.
But since you and I knew each other from education, Christian education,
Right.
there's a part of it, and I want to come back to the police in a few minutes, but there's a part of it where you have scholarships. Tell me about the scholarships. What are you doing through the scholarships, and
Yes.
who are you reaching?
Yes. As you said, Paul, I am very big on education.
Mm-hmm.
I remember even when I was at the Black Business, when I was the president of the Black Business and Professional Association,
Right.
my first year, I doubled the scholarship.
Mm.
I made sure that right through our churches, that kids from our church,
Yes.
from our churches, were given the huge scholarships that were given out in our community.
Mm.
Because we know that, according to Mandela, education is the greatest weapon that's given to humankind.
Right.
I believe in Seventh-day Adventist education. And so, I hope I can say this. And so, while I was at the BBP, the Black Business and Professional Association, just to show you the length of how, that I would go to ensure that education is one of the huge elements or focuses that we have in terms of enabling our young people.
Mm.
I made sure I made sure when I was there that when they said that education scholarships are only given to individuals within Canada.
Mm-hmm.
I know that a lot of our schools are in and outside of Canada.
Right.
I made sure that we went back to the Constitution and we said that here we have students who have their discipline, right? To further their education, they have to go outside, but they're still Canadians. Why don't we expand it to Canadian kids being educated outside?
Right.
Those are kids going to Andrews,
Yeah.
Oakwood,
Yeah.
Loma Linda,
Mm-hmm.
right? To include them.
Right.
Now, all of a sudden, we have 78 Adventist kids who were never given or even thought of given those $28,000 scholarships.
Right.
And those $8,000 scholarships are now a part of the contingent of young people.
Yeah.
Now, with Martin Luther King started out as just an event, just singing,
Yeah.
just singing and doing what we want to do. But I'm thinking, okay, so if Martin Luther King is about enabling people and empowering people and taking people out of poverty,
Right.
what better way to take our young people out of poverty than to have them educated?
Wow.
So we decided we would have scholarships a part of the Martin Luther King celebration, right? And in that, we have different stripes within that, and we can take care of those things. But the police, when, like Durham was not on board,
Yeah.
I had some strong conversation this year about it's happening here. Where's your presence?
Right.
And they work it out, and they also, invested funds into it.
Nice.
Right? So that was good to see. But they're told you do not wear your uniform with guns. So if you check all of them, no guns.
Really?
No, because they're given their uniform when they go out to events and to dinners.
Yeah.
You're not here. There's no guns. Right? So that needs to be said too, that they're not wearing their uniform that they wear on the street when they're on duty.
Okay. Excellent.
And they're here as allies.
Yeah.
And to say that we work together is not us against them.
Bringing the community
together. It's not
Yes.
blacks against whites
Right.
or police against, anti-police. And no, we're not into that. We're in oneness, because it's a oneness that's going to make us stronger, right? And diversity is our strength.
Yes.
It's not about one person or
That's right.
but we can have common ground, even though we're different.
Yeah. Excellent. So you worked with businesses, faith communities, and governments. What does it take to bring such a group together for a common cause? It must. Is there a lot of work behind it?
There's a lot of work, calling meetings and doing all this. But again, in order to be successful, and I believe, and being a business major, I understand what success is. I spend many times and being given access into the community to understand how communities work. I understand that, what, the more you come together as one, is the better outcomes you're going to have.
Right.
So I realize that with businesses, we need the businesses, because that's where the innovation and the resources, that's where it comes from. It comes from. And then we need the government, because in the government, we have the policymakers. We need them to be there to hear what are the issues are when we're talking about Martin Luther King and the issues, right, in social justice. And we also need the faith base, because the faith base is going to give us that moral compass.
Right.
Right. So because we need people to understand that We are one human being, but we have different parts, and we need to feed those parts. We
Right.
need to feed our faith. We need to feed entrepreneurship. We need to feed the policymakers. So when in the last election, I know when the Trudeau cabinet won, they asked because I'm always up lobbying on Parliament Hill,
Mhm.
and I'm always saying, what happened to the churches? We have people there too.
Mhm.
And then I got a call, Pauline, I think we could hear from the churches to let us know how we are doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are nonpartisan. Anybody that I always say, any government that takes care of our people,
Yeah.
I'm okay. But I'm not into parties.
Yeah.
I'm into doing the right thing and understand that we as a faith-based, community, we are people too. We pay taxes.
Mhm.
And that's why when you're giving back money, money needs to go back to the church.
Pauline, what role does media play in bringing people together? Rogers, the Afro Global Television, they have supported your work. How do you use storytelling to unite people?
That's right. That is critical. And I know sometimes as Seventh-day Adventists, and I really appreciate you, Paul, because you're so forward thinking. You have to use technology. You have to use media.
Mhm.
Media is the most powerful tool given to society.
Right.
They create the narrative.
Mhm.
And that's why most politicians, they try to buy out the media.
Yeah.
Because if the media gets out there and turns the conversation a certain way,
It goes that
it
direction.
goes that direction.
Right. Right.
So even though we are not about Babylon,
Yeah.
but we need to know how to posture and position to be favored because of the community things that we do,
Mhm.
right? And we're not going to get into spaces and, and create riots
Yeah.
when we don't have to,
Yeah.
because we're going to feed with honey rather than vinegar, right? But media is critical because I know that even for me, even when I was at a BBPA, all the radio stations,
Mhm.
but we had the funding to do that,
Right.
and the TV stations,
Yeah.
right? And so if they take your message out there, they can give you capacity. They
Mhm.
can help you build.
Yeah.
And so that's why media to me is important. And even up to a couple of weeks ago, I was doing an interview on Rogers, Afro Globe Television. We have a good partnership and relationship. Again, because we need them to get the word out there.
Excellent. Excellent.
You know.
And Pauline, we've talked about this in our private lives about MLK. How do you handle criticism when people misunderstand your work or try to limit its impact?
Well, criticism is good.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Criticism is unpaid for advertisement.
Excellent.
And when you live a life
Yes.
that is on par with what God wants you
Yeah.
to be, it's an opportunity to share with people now.
Nice.
So now they take you out there and I've been there. You know, if you've known, I've
Yeah.
been there, done that.
Yeah.
But I always say I live a life above reproach.
Oh, fantastic.
I live a life above
Yeah.
reproach. So say what you want, but at
Mm.
the end of the day, I know that with that saying, it's going to bring you closer to me.
Yeah.
And bring you closer to me, now you have a better understanding of who I am.
Yeah.
And so then I can talk about my religion. I can talk about how I never had, I've never been sick, or what keeps me healthy. I
Yeah.
can point people to my religion. And that's why most people around me, they know I'm Seventh-day Adventist, because when they say, oh, Pauline, you're a gym freak. Oh, because you're a PE teacher. And no, no, no. It's because I'm a Seventh-day Adventist, and my Seventh-day Adventist religion teaches me how to live a
Wow.
life,
Wow.
a healthy life, a
Yeah.
life that is in line with Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
How I treat people, kindness,
Mhm.
not gossiping,
Yeah.
not out there throwing your bodies all over the place,
Mhm.
standing up and having an upright
Yeah.
lifestyle. It's lifestyle ministry.
Right.
So for me, that's what I am, and that's what I do,
Yes.
ministry.
Yeah.
And I'm proud to be a Seventh-day Adventist.
Excellent.
So, I hope I
Awesome.
answered your question.
Yeah, good, good. So building community requires trust,
Mhm.
and trust takes time. What lessons have you learned about maintaining long-term relationships with supporters and partners?
Now, in order for your partners and supporters and people, sometimes people, apart from what happened, with the scholarship thing,
Right.
right? But if you look, most of my funders are long-term funders.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I was at the BBPA, I had all five major banks
Yeah.
funding me.
Yeah.
And people say, they're not funding the BBPA, they're funding Pauline's leadership.
Okay.
You,
Yeah.
people have to trust your leadership.
Right.
You have to be upright in what you
Yep.
do. You got to be transparent.
That's right.
You have to do what you say you're going to do
Mm-hmm.
and not go the opposite way.
Yeah.
So I think once they trust you in your because of your deliverables
Mm-hmm.
and because you're consistent,
Yeah.
right, in what you do, and you're able to unify the force,
Mm-hmm.
don't get on tangents. Don't get into
Yeah.
stuff that you don't need to get into,
Right.
right? Bring
Stay
people,
focused.
stay focused and bring people together.
Yeah.
And your lifestyle must be consistent.
Mm-hmm.
You can't be over here today and over there tomorrow. And you go with the wind.
Mm.
No, my focus is Jesus Christ. And I ask myself, would Jesus do this? If
Right.
he won't do it, then I won't do it, no
Yeah.
matter what position you're
Yeah.
giving me. I've turned down millions of dollars. I don't want it. It's not going to take me where Christ wants to take me.
Right.
And I have to be a role model for Jesus Christ. That's
Wow.
why, because when I got the leadership position in corporate Canada,
Mm-hmm.
I promised God.
Yeah.
I said, "You take me to places that I would never even think of, and I will glorify you." And
Wow.
so when I see myself traveling with Prime Minister, delegation of 10, and
Mm-hmm.
how did I even get there? How did
Yeah.
my name get called?
Wow.
Yeah, but on Sabbath, go on your entourage and all the stuff. I ain't going.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in my hotel room, or I'm going to the closest church nearby.
Yeah.
I am not going contrary.
So you stop everything to spend time with God on the seventh day.
On the seventh day.
Yeah.
And you have to, and I say to people, if I can do that, a young woman who came here with
Mm-hmm.
$50 in her pocket, and people say, how did she get there?
Yeah.
People make up stories. How did she must have to do this to get there?
Yeah.
No. Because when I'm talking and I'm mentoring, because right now I mentor kids at York University, I mentor young people around the church. I don't call names. I mentor
Mm-hmm.
young people in Africa. I mentor people all over the world.
Yeah.
I house international students. I take care of people on, homeless people up north. I do all these things. I don't go talking about it
Mm-hmm.
because I'm supposed to live as Jesus does or did,
Right.
right? And and I think when you do that, that's how you bring people together. People see you, and sometimes you don't know people are seeing you, but people are watching you.
Yeah.
When you're a leader, you're under a microscope,
Okay.
and so you're being watched, and
Yeah.
you got to do what you're supposed to do.
Right.
Walk the talk. Being able to get some of our young people huge scholarships
Mm-hmm.
that they were not able to touch
Right.
or experience, having some of our major significant individuals in our community like the Royce and James and the David Burt and the Leon Prendergrass,
Yes.
getting huge awards, because the Herodrome Awards is the most prestigious
Yes.
African Canadian awards here in this country.
Mm-hmm.
And being there and being able to enable our students and being
Yes.
able and to be able to enable our leaders
Mm-hmm.
in this country,
Yeah.
and to have our presidents of the conference speaking at some of these events and blessing these events, right?
Mm-hmm.
Using, when you're given a platform and you know who you are and whose you are, to use that to enable
Yeah.
your religion, and not to see it as about you, because God placed you there,
Mm-hmm.
and He's not placing you there as a comfort seat. He's placing you there to mobilize, motivate, inspire, and to show people the light.
Wow.
The light is Jesus Christ.
Yes.
And we
Yes.
are the remnant. So we don't have to go over there and crucify people or beat them over their heads. Most of the people that I've brought into my church out of the social Canada and the corporate Canada, I never showed them the Bible. They
Wow.
just wanted to know who I am.
Yeah.
When the Prime Minister came, Prime Minister Trudeau came for my event, and I told him to come at 6, and then his advisors are calling saying that he's here, it's 5:45, and he wants to get in. I'm saying, well, I'm in my car. My event is going on. I'm not even in there. I told you 6. I'm 70 Adventist.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not
Yeah.
really, a fanatic,
Yeah.
but I was able to talk about my church and
Right.
what I stand for,
Yeah.
right? And so that's what I want to see of our young people.
Okay.
When you're in positions of power and influence, not to lean towards
Mm.
what we do not represent,
Right.
but to lead people to
what we represent.
what we represent.
Fantastic.
And so, it's in there. As you know, I appreciate, your support,
Hmm.
Doc, Dr. Paul. I call you Dr.
Yes.
Paul because
Yeah.
you're an amazing instrument in our
Yeah.
community. I really look up to you. The book is dedicated to our students,
Yes.
Crawford students, Oakwood students, Berman students, and
Hmm.
also my family. And there are a lot of stuff about health, living a healthy lifestyle.
Yeah.
How to function when you're in the markets, in the marketplace, and
Wow.
how to keep your focus on Christ. And
Excellent.
you're not going to deter.
Yeah.
You just have to, look to the light.
All right. Pauline, I really appreciate your work because we've been associated for a long time, especially the work in the Black community,
Thank you.
to bring Jesus there and to bring unity,
Mhm.
and not just within the Black community, in the greater community. We
Yes.
want to work together. We want to be brothers and sisters with each other. So I really appreciate that work, and I thank you for that work because it is a
You're
great
welcome.
example. We need more examples like that in our
Thank you.
communities. So many people feel powerless when it comes to making change. What's your advice to someone who wants to bring people together but doesn't know where to start? And I want you to speak into the camera because there's somebody going to be watching this right now that you're going to move them to be a mentor, to be a supporter, or just to be a person that will stand in the gap to help somebody get from point A to point B
That's right.
with success.
Thank you for that question, Paul. I truly believe that change starts with you. Change starts with me. So most times people look at others and say, oh, the church isn't doing this, or this person isn't doing that. But if we look inwardly and ask ourselves, what can I do to bring about the change that I seek? We'll think of maybe, how can we be kinder? How can we mentor a young woman that is in need of help? How do we be a power, or a source of strength to someone who needs help, someone who needs food? Like, for example, during the COVID, my family created a food bank where we go out and we shared food with different individuals. You know, just be the change we want to see, and it starts with us, and we just do that in a collaborative effort, and just be kinder. I always say that my new mantra is be kind, be
Yes.
kind, be kind.
And that's incredible, Pauline. Uh, to do it with somebody else. You don't have to do it alone. We
That's
can
right.
do it with somebody else. We can be nice to
Yeah,
people and kind to
yeah.
people. We can
Basic.
lift each other up. But it just means get active.
Yeah, get
Out
active.
there.
Yeah,
Volunteer.
volunteer, mentor.
That's right.
Find someone to help. Give a helping hand. Just give a hand up.
Yes.
Just give a hand up, and you never know how far that will go.
And that's what those scholarships do that you have raised. And,
That's
and
right.
you've had people that have pulled out because of the Christian association of these
That's
scholarships.
right.
But nevertheless,
It's
you're
okay.
pushing forward, looking for new people to
That's
come
right.
in to stand in the gap.
Yeah.
But those scholarships are there to move people to a different level
Yes.
that they might not have had before.
That's right.
Because of that stuff. And that's what we're there for,
Social, economic. Yeah.
to help other people.
Yeah. Social,
Jesus
economic.
came here to help.
Yep.
That's right.
And that's why we're here.
All right.
We are His hands and His feet.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, Pauline, for this interview coming on Rainmakers, because Rainmakers is a story about people that are making change in their communities. And you have made such a big change just in the Greater Toronto region and all of Canada. Because I've heard that, the government has sent you even to Geneva
Yes.
this last
I was
summer
there. Yeah.
to represent Canada
Yes.
because you're a change agent.
Yes.
You're
At the
bringing
United
people up.
Nations. Yeah.
So thank you very
I've
much
done my
for what
old
you do.
Africa trip and all that
Good.
stuff, right across, the globe. So I
Yeah.
think that when we have that kind of impact, and I always say it starts with the church.
Yes.
I learned all this from the church. The church was my base.
Yeah, and I'm hearing that more and
Content.
more from people.
Oh,
It
thank you.
started in the church.
Yes.
We learned it in the church.
Yeah.
We learned it. We learned leadership, and the church was there to lift people up.
That's right.
That's why the church exists.
That's
to
right.
lift people up.
So let's go and shine.
Awesome.
We're diamonds.
Awesome. So thank you very much, Pauline.
Thank you,
Very-
Paul. Appreciate the interview.
Have you been moved by this story? Do you feel inspired to help us to continue bringing these impactful moments to life? Your support is essential for us to keep showcasing the volunteers making a difference. If you'd like to contribute to the production of Hope Channel Canada and its ministries, it's simple. Visit agentsofhope.ca, where you'll find various ways to donate: debit, credit, Google Pay, Apple Pay, or send an e-transfer to agentsofhope@hopetv.ca. Prefer mailing a check? Send it to Hope Channel Canada at 1148 King Street East, Oshawa, Ontario, L1H 1H8. For a more personal connection, call us at 1-855-4-HOPE-TV. That's 1-855-446-7388. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Hope Channel Canada, and click the notification bell so you never miss an episode. You can also watch the show on multiple platforms: hopetv.ca, cable TV, the Roku app, and the Hope Channel app. Are you looking for answers to life's most profound questions? Hope Study provides free online Bible courses that cover essential topics, all at your own pace and from the comfort of your own home. One of our enriching courses is The Unlimited Power of Prayer, and it invites you to discover the remarkable world of prayer. Here, talking with God is not a boring routine, but a sincere conversation with the source of love and wisdom. This study will deepen your understanding of prayer's transformative power and will help you build a stronger connection with God. Signing up is easy and completely free at hopestudy.ca. Begin your journey today and feel free to share this valuable resource with anyone else seeking answers. Uncover life's answers. Visit hopestudy.ca and start your journey today.